Started. Could the clerk please call the roll?
Vice Mayor Baxter. Commissioner Flores. Here. Mayor Marino.
Here.
Commissioner Powell.
Here.
Commissioner Sachs.
Here.
Commissioner Weiss.
Here.
Commissioner Woodward.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. I've asked Commissioner Flores to lead us in the invocation and the pledge. If you could stand, please do so now.
Dear God, as we gather here today, we pray that we, ever mindful of opportunities to render our service to fellow citizens and to our community, keeping in mind always the enduring values of life, exerting our efforts in those areas and in those things upon which future generations can build with confidence. Let us continue to strive to make a better world. Amen.
Let the record reflect that Vice Mayor Baxter has joined us. Thank you. Any additions, deletions, or modifications to the agenda?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Page 2, item 3A2. It's deleted. Staff pulled and moved to the 9/9/25 meeting. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
May I get a motion to adopt the agenda as amended?
So moved.
I have a motion from the Vice Mayor, a second from Commissioner Woodward. All in favor, all opposed? See, that motion carries 7-0. We're going to go on. I know this is a workshop for a lot of you, but we also have several regular agenda items, and we are going to go to those now. The first item, may I have a motion to receive and file item 3A1?
So moved.
I have a motion from the Vice Mayor, a second from Commissioner Woodward. All in favor, all opposed? See that that motion carries. May I also get a motion to receive and file item 3A2?
So moved.
3A3.
So moved.
3A3. I have a motion from the Vice Mayor, a second from Commissioner Woodward. All in favor, all opposed? See that motion carries 7-0. We are now on to item 3B1, Youth Services. And I'm sure we're going to get a presentation. So who's going first?
Good morning, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Administrator Abruzzo, Commissioners.
Hold the microphone a little towards you.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll kick it off and then turn it over to staff. First, to introduce everyone that is at the table. I'm Tammy Fields, Assistant County Administrator. We have Adam Davis. I'm sorry, Adam Davis, who, I just wanted to say Adam West for those who remember Batman. But, Adam Davis, who is the new Assistant Director for the Youth Services Department. Elisa Kramer, Director of Youth Services. Ike Powell, Division Director for Outreach and Community Programming. Michelle Liska, who is the Division Director for Finance, Contracting, and Administrative Services, and Jessica Rosenthal from the County Attorney's Office, and I think that's everyone. We are returning with this item based on board direction. This is the recommendations for the community-based agencies, and so we have all of those recommendations. In the interim, since the last meeting when this was postponed, we have met with each of you and provided you with some of the information about the other funding sources for each of these agencies. And at this point, I will turn it over to Ms. Kramer for the presentation.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to present our recommendations for the fiscal year 2026 Notice of Funding Opportunity for Community-Based Agencies. It's not working.
Something's happening.
Not advancing. There we go. Thank you. So at the July 8th BCC meeting, we were asked to provide some history on the creation of the Youth Services Department and the Community-Based Agency Program. So I wanted to just briefly spend some time on the history to be responsive to the board's request. In September 2013, following the Sandy Hook tragedy, the Palm Beach County Board of County Commissioners, the School Board, the Children's Services Council, the United Way, Career Source, and other leaders convened for the Infant, Child, Youth, and Young Adult Symposium. That goal was to share information and identify actions and programs to support the healthy growth, development, and education of children and youth prenatally to young adulthood. The impetus in the wake of that tragedy was to identify ways to try to prevent such a tragedy from happening here in Palm Beach County. Are there things that we can do to build resilience, to help children address their anger, to strengthen a sense of connection and belonging to the community, to prevent cycles of violence? After that symposium, the Board of County Commissioners reviewed the organization of children and youth programs and services offered by the county and voted to do two things: enter into an agreement with the Children's Services Council of Palm Beach County, which would invest in the Head Start program that Palm Beach County had been supporting. And the second was to use the savings from moving Head Start to the Children's Services Council to create additional youth programming under the Youth Services Department. And the department formally opened 10 and a half years ago on January 5th, 2015. The board was very specific in its direction, mission, and charge for the Youth Services Department, and that is board direction that we continue to carry out. This slide comes from the October 27th, 2015 BCC Workshop, which identified a mission for the Youth Services Department and envisioned that the department would consolidate services that were occurring in various departments and be assigned some new responsibilities. Specifically, the board charged the Youth Services Department with interagency coordination, meetings with various agencies, the Children's Services Council, United Way, the courts, DJJ, the Sheriff's Office, School District, Career Source. The department also was charged with interdepartmental coordination, so libraries, the Office of Community Revitalization, parks, small business, community service, Criminal Justice Commission, and public safety. So the Youth Services Department was created as an efficiency in part. Moving that youth programming from multiple departments to one department was an effort to not operate in silos, to help families know where to turn, and to ensure coordination among the county's services for youth. I'm going to turn it over to Michelle Liska to discuss additional board direction.
Good morning. On June 3rd, 2014, the board approved an interlocal agreement with the Children's Services Council beginning June 3rd, 2014 through September 30th, 2019, providing for a decrease in the payment of matching funds for the Head Start program that transferred from the county to Lutheran Services, and also providing for the expansion of county-sponsored youth and young adult programming. This agreement reduced the county's previous match of $28.4 million if it was continued at the fiscal year 2014 contribution level. The agreement also obligated the county to make annual match payments towards Head Start totaling $14.425 million over a 4-year period. In exchange for this release, the county agreed to invest in additional evidence-based promising programming and services for youth and young adults starting in fiscal year 2016 in the amount of $1 million and increasing annually to $4.1 million in fiscal year 2019. Although the contractual obligation with CSE ended, it was anticipated that the county funding and evidence-based programming would continue. The County Commission's investment enabled community-based agencies to provide the services that they were best equipped to provide without significantly growing the number of county employees. While the Youth Services Department was best positioned to provide strong contractual and performance monitoring of the CBAs. The board's direction for additional youth programming and interdepartmental coordination led to certain youth programming funds being transferred from community services to youth services, including the most recent behavioral health funding transferred to ISD for the proposed budget year 2026. The administrative code limits county assistance to 25% of the agency's total budget. Youth services community-based agency contracts include this requirement, as well as language to limit administrative costs to no more than 15%.
So the priority areas for youth programming were identified by the original Strengthening the Steps to Success Youth Master Plan for Palm Beach County, which was published in 2016 and adopted by the County Commission. After community conversations throughout the county, surveys, and data collection, the Birth to 22 United for Brighter Futures Youth Master Plan 2.0, which we commonly call YMP 2.0, was released in 2024 as an update to the original YMP. In 2024, now and then, the Palm Beach County Youth Master Plan is designed to unite the community to strengthen the key supports that children need to make steady progress toward adult success. The value of the community-based agencies can be seen in many aspects of our community, in the reduction of youth arrests and juvenile justice involvement, in the coordinated approach to youth mental health services and supports, in the collaboration across sectors to support internships, apprenticeships, and career readiness preparation, and in the strengthened access to prevention, education, and early intervention throughout communities by local trusted nonprofit businesses. When the board considered the Youth Master Plan in January 2017, there was an emphasis on the lack of jobs, lack of services, and lack of supports for youth in Palm Beach County. Community-based agencies provide activities and supports that combat adverse childhood experiences, and research has demonstrated that the antidote to ACEs is positive childhood experiences. So that's what the Youth Services Department and the nonprofit businesses we contract with tackle, many of those factors that contribute to youth adversity. What we do best collectively is prevent the worst from happening. So how do we measure, how do we quantify that? How do we identify that that is truly happening? We included on this slide an estimate of the cost Palm Beach County could face if childhood adversity went unaddressed. It is based on a study that was published in the Journal of American Medical Association, and it identified that adults with unaddressed ACEs carry a price tag of $88,000 per year associated with every affected adult. 63% of adults had ACEs in that study. So if we applied that in Palm Beach County to the 63% of our 286,076 youth under the age of 18, that economic burden could be nearly $16 billion. These are future potential costs that can be curbed with continued community-wide investment in coordinated services and interventions, including those led by the Youth Services Department and the community-based agencies that we work with. The countywide impact of the Youth Services Department and the community-based agencies that provide needed services is reflected in part in the community-based agencies' annual report, which was provided to each of our commissioners and is available on the Youth Services Department website. That publication identifies the outcomes our community-based agencies are required to meet and the number of youth, parents, and caregivers served by each agency. In the pictures of youth engaged in various activities and skill-building activities, I'm sorry, our slides aren't advancing. Okay, there we go. In the pictures of youth engaged in various activities and skill-building exercises, this annual report is a clear celebration of the achievements of the community-based agencies, which often exceed the projected number of youth to serve that are in their contract. The CBA annual report also highlights the data, the specific outcomes required for funding, the specific performance measures monitored monthly, quarterly, and annually by youth services staff. That data tells us that the supports and services by the community-based agencies are working, that they are effective, and they are positively impacting our community. What our annual reports cannot fully capture is the correlated impact that our contracted community-based agencies have on our community's well-being, such as youth resilience and development of critical thinking and problem-solving skills, enhancement of coping strategies, and a sense of civic belonging that has helped our youth suicide rates not climb, for example. Some of our CBAs are focused on helping youth achieve a high school diploma, obtain an internship, or enroll in post-secondary education. Some are focused on maintaining good health, which we know provides a foundation for having healthy habits throughout your life, which can then decrease the costs of healthcare through adulthood. The Youth Master Plan 2.0 includes the steps to success identified in the original Youth Master Plan. The steps to success represent 6 domains of child and youth development: physical health, behavioral health, academic readiness, social and emotional well-being, career readiness, and connection and contribution to community and society. These steps represent key markers of success that allow us to access developmental outcomes. And the indicators or measures on this slide are for the different areas that show the stair steps. So in green text, those are things that we are trying to promote and that our community-based agencies assist with. And the red text are the things that we are trying to prevent. In addition to the data, which is tracked agency by agency through on-site monitoring visits, through qualitative and quantitative metrics evaluated monthly, quarterly, and annually, Palm Beach County's Youth Services Department has earned national awards and recognition for the way the county has invested in its youth. With a unified mission of seeing success for young people, the Palm Beach County Youth Services Department, in partnership with the United Way of Palm Beach County's Mentor Center and the Children's Services Council of Palm Beach County, launched the Level Up Enhanced Mentoring Program in 2021 that offers mentoring opportunities for youth ages 11 to 19 who are involved with or at risk of entering the juvenile justice or dependency systems. The goal is to match the youth with a long-term positive role model, to make referrals to community-based services, and provide opportunities to continue education or career exploration. We know that when a young person has a consistent, supportive adult in their life, they can overcome adversity and they can build resilience. This program has won a Best in Category for Children and Youth Achievement Award from the National Association of Counties. The Youth Services Department also has earned 14 NACO awards, including 4 this year, 3 for direct services by our Residential Treatment and Family Counseling Division, and 1 for an innovative collaboration between outreach and community programming and our information systems partners for an interactive map of the more than 90 summer camp scholarship provider sites. Also noted on that slide is the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation Culture of Health Prize, which was a significant achievement recognizing the collaboration among multiple sectors. So we have celebrated 10 years of progress as a department, and we have performance data that shows effective, impactful programs by nonprofit businesses under contract with the county. But we want to do more to make sure youth and families are connected to available programs. We are working to make sure that we are doing more outreach for families, that we are looking at the data long-term, that we are making sure our impact for our very short-term intervention has a long-term impact. I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Mr. Ike Powell, to walk through this NOFO process.
Good morning, and thank you, Elisa. The purpose of this notice of funding opportunity was for the Youth Services Department to solicit proposals from qualifying nonprofit agencies and public entities serving youth in Palm Beach County to provide services related to certain action areas identified in the Youth Master Plan. The NOFO was advertised and made available to the public in February. Applicants were required to attend mandatory pre-proposal conference either via Zoom, live, or by watching the recording afterward to learn about the NOFO requirements and use of the electronic portal for submission of the application and supporting documentation. Applications were due on March 24th. Then in April, over a span of a week, 3 separate review panels of subject matter experts met to discuss the review of the applications and to score the applications by category. After reviewing the review panel scoring and recommendations and considering funding availability, the Youth Services Department recommended funding and posted those recommendations to the county's website on May 9th. The recommendations were based on multiple factors, including the review panel scoring and ranking of critical of need. The recommendations also considered an organization's past performance from monitoring reports, including corrective actions, the number served, and the geographic location of the service. With numerous high-quality proposals, the decisions were not easy. Our notice of funding opportunity was issued for 3 action areas: health and wellness supports, whereby ensuring access to healthy foods and exercise options address youth physical and mental health risk barriers. Ensure safety and justice was another action area, to provide intervention and alternatives to crime, strengthen prevention efforts to deter entry into the delinquency system, and promote healthy relationships, respect communication, conflict resolution, and family and social interactions. And then the third area was skills for learning in life, strengthening life skills that build confidence, support mental and emotional health, and youth to overcome challenges through quality out-of-school time programs. I'm going to turn this back over to Elisa Kramer.
So the Youth Services Department addresses 4 of the Board of County Commissioners' 7 strategic priorities through each division and through our contracted community-based agency. This slide identifies those programs that specifically target a strategic priority. So this slide talks about our NOFO that we are recommending funding for beginning October 1st. We received 48 total proposals. 4 of them were deemed ineligible, which left 44 to be scored by our subject matter experts. We are recommending 33 programs for funding. Of the $10.8 million that was requested, we have recommended allocation of $3.1 million, which would serve about 4,000 youth, parents, and caregivers.
Under the Health and Wellness Supports Action Area, we received 15 proposals. Based on our review panel results and funding availability, we recommend the 12 agencies listed on the next slide be funded. Of these 12 agencies, we are recommending under the Health and Wellness Supports Action Area, the Children's Services Council Board voted on July 15th to collaborate with the county to assist in funding the top-ranked proposal in this category. Under the Ensure Safety and Justice Action Area, we received 12 proposals, including 2 deemed non-responsive. Based on our review panel results and funding availability, we recommend the 8 agencies listed on the next slide to be funded. Of the 8 agencies under Ensure Safety and Justice, we are recommending for funding, the Children's Services Council voted to collaborate in funding the top 2 ranked proposals. And then under Skills for Learning in Life, action area, we received 21 proposals, including 2 deemed non-responsive. Based on our review panel results and funding availability, we recommend the 13 agencies listed herein be funded. And you'll see those shown on this slide here. Of the 13 agencies recommended for funding under Skills for Learning in Life, the Children's Services Council voted to collaborate in funding the top 3 ranked proposals in this category.
So the agencies did not get the full $10.8 million that their programs cost. However, all of these programs offering education and prevention and early intervention are a part of an important support system for youth. No agency is recommended to receive more than 25% of its agency budget, and no more than 15% of their budget can be spent on administrative costs. The agencies that we are recommending for funding have a current combined total budget of more than $165 million. Palm Beach County's funds $7.4 million toward these agencies, which is about 4% of those agencies' budgets. At the July meeting, we were asked to provide information on other funding provided by other government sources. That information was provided to you on August 1st, and additional details were shared on August 13th. That Excel spreadsheet that we shared reflects funding from the county, the Children's Services Council, the Healthcare District, Southeast Florida Behavioral Health Network, as well as any state or federal funding that the agency was able to identify at the time of the request. The information demonstrated that in most instances, funding recommended by Youth Services is for different programs than the other funding sources. We appreciate the time that you have given us to meet with each of you to go over the spreadsheets in detail, and we appreciate your support of the Youth Services Department and the contracted community-based agencies that are helping to fill the needs of youth and families in our county. And we're available for any questions or comments.
I don't see any lights on for questions at the moment, but we do have 18 cards. And if everyone takes 3 minutes, we've got an hour's worth of public comment. So if you don't have to take all 3 minutes, we'd greatly appreciate it. I know that you all are here in support of our sharing our public dollars with you for your programs. And as someone who ran a nonprofit for 20 years, I understand how hard it is to get dollars and to raise dollars. So we do understand that up here, and we also understand that a lot of the agencies that are in the room right now and that are getting funding are doing things that we as a county can't do. And that is the reason we make these dollars available. I also know that some of the presentations were better than others. So if that is a reason why you may not be getting as much funding as you did last year, you always have to bring your A game when you do your presentations, not your B, C, D, or E game. So with that, we have 18 speaking cards, and Commissioner Woodward is at the helm. Thank you. And
Okay.
Vice Mayor Baxter gets to time everybody.
All right, I'm going to call the first 6 cards. We have 2 sets of microphones. Pam O'Brien, Julie Seaver, Ellie Harrigan, Lisa Johnson, Julie Swindler, and Tracy Labgold.
We have 2 microphones, so you can line up behind both microphones.
Okay. Hi, good morning. Good morning, Mayor Marino and Vice Mayor Baxter and commissioners and staff. I'm Pam O'Brien, President and CEO of AVDA, also known as Aid to Victims of Domestic Abuse. I'm here today with Matt Tyler, our Violence Prevention Manager, Rashard Perry and Marcos Fleury, our violence prevention educators, and our board immediate past chair, Vicki Mayen, is around here somewhere. I'm not sure she has a seat. But we are all here together to first say thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts for the funding that we have received since the inception of the Youth Services Program. Over the years, 2,248 young people in Palm Beach County have learned to lead with respect and healthy relationships, thereby preventing violence in our evidence-based program. Nobody can say it better than the youth, so I'm turning the mic to Matt for a brief moment.
Morning, County Commissioners. Matt Tyler, Violence Prevention Educator, or Manager with AVDA. Also, husband, father of 2, and resident of Palm Springs, Florida here. So What's kept me going for 10 years in this work is our young people. And I do want to just share and bring their voice here. What we do is we provide a feedback survey that allows them to write down their feedback on their experience with our program. So I'm going to share some of that with you today. When asked, what skills have you applied to your own relationships as a result of ABDA's participation? Quote, I have been a better friend/partner and have helped others in abusive relationships. Again, when asked, what skills have you applied to your own relationships as a result of the program? I now speak up when I see things that are out of place in relationships. It's something that I will always carry with me. When asked, what did you like best about ABDA's programming? I actually learned something I can teach to others or even my kids later on. And when asked, how could we best support your peers to develop healthy relationships? I quote, I feel we need to get everyone involved as well because a lot of people need to know how to develop healthy relationships. So I just wanted to bring the youth voice here today for our programmings, and thank you for your support of the Youth Services Department and our programs.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Julie Swindler. I'm the CEO of Families First of Palm Beach County, and I've been the CEO for 35 years now. I want to thank Mayor Maria Marino and Vice Mayor Sarah Baxter and all the Board of County Commissioners for allowing me to speak on behalf of Families First and the funding we receive from the FAA and Youth Services programs. Our agency has enjoyed a partnership with the county for several years, and I just want to take a moment to share with you the results on your investment of the programs we serve countywide. 2 of our programs are being transitioned from FAA to the Youth Services this next fiscal year. Mindful Minds, formerly PARID, is under the action area of health and wellness. This program has a strong collaboration with the Edna Runner Tutorial Center in Jupiter, as well as other community partners throughout the county. We serve 85 families per year with over 90% success rate of improvement in social emotional functioning and reduction in mental health symptoms. Kin Support Project is under the action area of Skills for Learning in Life. This relative caregiver program is the only one in Palm Beach County that has a comprehensive program for relative caregivers. And the children in their care provide legal services, support groups, case management, and we just added therapeutic services to this component. Our primary collaboration is with the Legal Aid Society of Palm Beach County, but also work with numerous partners in the community. We have achieved since 1999 between 92% to 100% of children remaining with relative caregivers and out of the child welfare system. Through support groups, caregivers learn about social emotional behavior and education needs of their youth in their care and get the support from other caregivers going through similar experiences. The Youth Empower Secure program, which has been funded for several years with Youth Services, is under the category of safety and justice. It is a prevention and intervention program that works with the Department of Juvenile Justice, Palm Beach County Public Safety Department, and numerous other partners. We serve primarily the reentry and justice-involved youth. Families First is the only agency that works with the Public Safety Department. Randy Taylor mentioned as an important partner in the reentry work at the presentation to the County Commission on July 22nd on a 2-year update on the youth reentry program. We are the agency receiving referrals for mental health treatment and follow-up. Year to date, 36 youth and 27 parents are presently being seen. We've seen an increase in parent engagement, which is challenging within this population. The agency is in the process of working with the new foundation to fund another therapist for this program. And I want to thank the County Commission very much for your support.
Good morning, afternoon, commissioners. My name is Julie Seaver, and I'm the Executive Director of Compass Community Center in Lake Worth Beach. Compass has been funded previously from Children's Services Council from 1992 for over 25 years, and by Youth Services Department for youth mental health and social support services since its inception. And after that presentation, we're proudly funded by Youth Services Department. I'm here today not only on behalf of Compass, but in solidarity with every single agency that was up on that screen, because Compass collaborates with all of the nonprofit youth-serving organizations. Together, we serve thousands of Palm Beach County residents every year, people who rely on us for mental health care, youth suicide prevention, housing support, domestic violence resources, and education, economic stability, and building life skills. And so when you do fund these local community-based agencies, you're not just investing in programs, you're investing in prevention, resilience, and healthier families for all of Palm Beach County. Every dollar that you invest in this work saves our county far more in crisis response, emergency care, and public wellness down the road. All of our services are lifelines, and without them, many of our neighbors would have nowhere else to turn. So on behalf of the people that we all serve in this room, I urge you to trust the expertise of the community services and youth services staff, the Children's Services Council, the independent auditors, accreditation specialists, grant reviewers, contract managers, financial analysts, and all of our contract managers who have carefully and exhaustively vetted these nonprofits to deliver life-saving services that our children, families, and neighbors depend on every single day. I want to thank you all for your leadership in ensuring Palm Beach County remains a place where everyone has access to dignity, wellness, and opportunity, and that DOGE has nothing on Palm Beach County. Thank you very much.
Yeah, they do.
Good morning, Mayor Marino, Vice Mayor Baxter, esteemed commissioners. Thank you for allowing us to be here today. My name is Lisa Johnson. I have proudly served as a professional Girl Scout right here in Palm Beach County for 29 years, the last 9 as the CEO for Girl Scouts of Southeast Florida. I'm here today because more than half of the high school girls in Florida meet a clinical definition of depression, feeling sad or hopeless for 2 weeks or more in a row. That's a 40% increase over the last 10 years. More startling is that 1 in 4 Florida high school girls have seriously considered suicide, a 60% increase from 10 years ago. Girls are also facing increasing rates of homelessness and violence and death resulting from overdose. The reality is that our girls are struggling in the classroom, in their relationships, and internally with mental and emotional health. And the intricate role that technology, and in particular social media, plays in their lives often exacerbates these challenges. But when our children develop the ability to identify, express, and manage their feelings, they build a foundation for emotional resiliency. Nurturing these capabilities requires safe environments with caring adults and supportive peer networks. Our partnership with the Palm Beach County Youth Services has allowed Girl Scouts to expand our reach over the last 4 years, reaching girls in communities who might not otherwise have access due to a lack of volunteers or financial limitation. Your investment in our children will reap returns for generations to come. Just as our Girl Scout alumni are shattering glass ceilings, setting records, and forging new and amazing paths, the girls we are serving today are equally intent on making their mark in the world. The Girl Scouts are here to help them, and we hope that we'll be able to count on your continued support. Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you, Mayor Marino and Vice Mayor Baxter and all of the county commissioners. I am not here on behalf of a nonprofit organization. I am here as a resident of Boca Raton to tell you that, as you all know, Palm Beach County is—
Please tell us your name.
Oh, sorry, Tracy Labgold. My name is Tracy Labgold. Palm Beach County is a spectacular place to live. We have seen the increase in people moving here in the last few years because they have realized how special we are. One of the reasons that Palm Beach County is as special as it is because of the incredible nonprofit organizations that provide youth and family support services, mental health care, social and emotional learning, and so much more to our community members. Each of you serves this county and is responsible for ensuring that it continues to thrive. I implore you to vote to approve funding for local community-based agencies to keep our community as special as it is. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Elle Harrigan, Girl Scout Southeast Florida. The first time that I was in this room was 10 years ago, whenever the funding was first here, and I was just as nervous as I am today. But I will tell you that the presentation was wonderful. It really does speak to the work that's being done. I would say that the one thing that wasn't showcased was the amount of work that you've done for youth development professionals in this field. So thank you, Ike. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Tammy. They have given, they slowly and lightly said how much they have done on a national level to talk about the work that they've done, but really the expertise that they have shown has been tremendous to so many kids in this area. I've worked with them in several nonprofits, but I would say that this team is incredible. They know their stuff, and they push us very hard. Many nights working on logic models in order to explain how we can do this, and it has made me a better professional for it. I know that it has made our teams better, but really the work that you've done for the youth development field is just extraordinary. So I hope that you continue this funding. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, the next 6, we have Margaret Bagley, Zayden Hogans, Jeff DeMario, Kelly Powell, Eric Robbie, and David Wetzman.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Margaret Bagley, and I am the CEO of Communities in Schools of Palm Beach County. And I've been in that position for the past 22 years. I've seen how our students respond to our Charting for Success program, which you fund in the Pahokee High School area. Behind me, I have my board members, our board chair, Meyer Haberman, and our vice chair, Marcy Gorman, that are here today to support the work that we do as well. Our program began in 1984 and for 41 years has surrounded students in Palm Beach County with a community of support, empowering students to stay in school. We do that by placing a graduation coach in a number of schools in Palm Beach County. The school, as I said, that you particularly fund is at Pahokee High School, where it is definitely needed. We do support all of the other nonprofits that are here as well. We stand united in needing and appreciating all of you and the funding that we receive. Thank you, Tammy, Ike, Lisa, and congratulations, Adam. I look forward to the monitoring, the monthly reports, the quarterly reports, the annual reports, when I have to dig through our data and understand how much we are affecting the students in Palm Beach County. So thank you all very much.
Good morning. The year was 1986.
Jeff, let us know your name.
My name is Jeff DeMario, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer for Vita Nova. And good morning, Board of County Commissioners, our partners at Youth Services, and friends and partners in the audience. Good morning. The year was 1986, and it was the year that I was prepared to get my first job. It was a year where dinner table discussion sounded like interview mock questions from my dad. What's the biggest challenge you face? What is your greatest strength? My mom picked out 3 outfits that night so I could go interview. And in that year, I was the newest sales associate at Kmart, proudly moving the blue light for 2 years, almost. This is my 20th year at Vita Nova, and it's been a mission that I absolutely love and feel called to. We receive funding from Youth Services Department in the areas of economic access that's helping youth get to work. And I often wonder who prepares an older foster youth or homeless youth for interviews and jobs and all that stuff. How do they get here? And I'll tell you that if it's not for this funding, we wouldn't be able to do this preparation. Vita Nova has been part of, in partnership with Youth Services Department since its inception. We currently serve over 280 youth a year with employment and supportive services with an 80% success rate for youth getting jobs and staying in those jobs. And I was preparing for today, and I was looking at the last Board of County Commissioners meeting, and I couldn't help but to notice a couple things that were just kind of staring me in the face, so I just thought I'd show them to everybody. And Commissioner Flores, we saw that in August, you and Sheriff Bradshaw were talking about a 17% reduction in crime. And I couldn't help but to think how helping homeless youth find work helps to contribute to that 17%. Madam Mayor Marino, we saw a new proclamation for National Hunger Action Month. And I couldn't help but to think that when we help a youth earn a paycheck, it contributes to the 15% reduction in starvation, especially for homeless youth in Palm Beach County. Plus, when a youth enters a career, they end public assistance like SNAP benefits. And Commissioner Woodward, I couldn't help but to think about your proclamation for Overdose Awareness Day and how overdose is the #1 leading cause of death for 18+ youth. And our work here in Vita Nova helps to reduce those numbers when we give a youth a job, help a youth find a job, and live in their purpose. I can't believe I'm out of time.
Thanks, Jeff.
I'll be back on C1. Thank you for your support.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Eric Roby. I'm the CEO of the Fuller Center. And while our campuses may be located in Commissioner Sachs's district and also Commissioner Woodward's district, our services that we provide are enjoyed by families from all of our districts. And that is because the Fuller Center, we focus on children from 6 weeks old to 22 years old with wraparound services for our families, because we believe if we can build stronger families, we can ensure our mission, which is to ensure that all of our children have the ability to reach their full potential. And I could go over impressive stats of we have heard here this morning, and they are all very impressive, such as every year we help over 1,100 children, 3,000 family members. We serve 433,000 meals, much needed for the population that we serve. That the families that we help are hardworking families. That the reason why they have to travel from all of the districts is that they can no longer afford to live in Southern Palm Beach County. So the way that they are able to work in Southern Palm Beach County is by utilizing our services. And I get a little bit emotional, so please, I apologize. Because short of those numbers, what's really important here today are the families that we are serving. It is the families where 3 young children lost their mom during childbirth, and dad went into a deep depression. And it was only because of our teachers that noticed something was off, that dad got the services that he needed, and the children received the services that they needed. And now that family is extremely strong and still attending all of our programs. Without us, we do not know what would have been the outcome, but he was on the pathway of losing custody of his children. Another father who beat addiction. Unfortunately, mom didn't, so now he's a single dad. And the only way that he can afford to make the bills work and keep his housing is with the services that we have at the Fuller Center. And also with our apprenticeship program. We have 150 employees. We take risks through our apprenticeship program where we normally would not be able to do so, allowing mothers who are facing homelessness to start a new career, to break that cycle of poverty. And because of your support in the past and hopefully your support in the future, we are able to do all of those things. So thank you so much for your support for not only the Fuller Center, but all of our nonprofits that work so hard together to make this community better. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Zayden. I'm here volunteering with Vita Nova. I've been doing it for over 3 years now, and I love what I do. I'm 21. I'm here with Vita Nova, and I met them when I was 16, turning 17. I was struggling in school. I wasn't homeless, neither a foster child, but I was just a child who wanted to escape their environment due to the lack of support and guidance. When I turned 18, I got case management with the help of Vita Nova, and I started my first job and also starting to improve in school. After my birthday, I was prepared for job readiness, and I got help with transportation to and from work along with school. Every day, staff would make it their priority to give me transportation and also just get me through the door to get to my new career. Vita Nova worked with me with life skills, job readiness to connect me with companies that were looking to invest in young adults who were homeless, in foster care, and a high desire for success. Just like many of them, I was fortunate enough to get that company to invest in not only us, but Vita Nova's community as well for over 2 years until the company was sold and I moved away. Vita Nova resources are very helpful as I find they are available, they're partnered with trusted clients, and their story is beautiful. Something about that, their story that helped me was their mission to create self-sufficiency and also their story about a washed up starfish. In conclusion, Vita Nova has helped me stay connected with many new employers in our community, and I'm very grateful for this chance that they took with me going into adulthood, gave me an equal opportunity for a new start towards employment. Thank you. Oh, and thank you,
Thank you, and
everybody
it's
else.
always great to hear from whom we're helping. So we appreciate that.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is David Weitzman, and I'm a South Florida resident, and I have dedicated my career to working in the nonprofit field. I am not one of the organizations that receives the funding from the commissioners. However, I'm here in solidarity with those organizations and want to share a little bit about why those organizations need those funding. Those organizations provide essential resources and opportunities to local Palm Beach County residents and ensure that residents in Palm Beach County can live with dignity and safety. In preparation for today, I did research on all of the commissioners and saw that each one of you ran on a platform or have language in your bio that you are dedicated and committed to safety of the Palm Beach County residents. Ensuring this funding continues is a part of that. Please be the voice and continue the funding for these programs.
Good morning. Good morning, Mayor Marino, Vice Mayor Baxter, and all the commissioners. My name is Kelly Powell, and I'm the CEO at Community Partners of South Florida. I want to thank you for an opportunity to allow us to share about the work we are doing that impacts our community. Community Partners of South Florida has been providing mentoring programs for over 20 years, and the funding from Youth Services supports some of our most vulnerable communities, Pahokee and Lake Worth. In the last 20 years, we've been able to serve a little over 150 youth and families each year, and that's really important for us. We're proud to share that we have about a 95% retention rate and 98% of grade promotion each year. The return on investment from this support includes a reduction in justice system involvement, our crime is reduced, absenteeism is dropped, and also reduction in youth depression and isolation. When youth have mentors in their lives, we see an increase in their connectedness to the community. With consistent support, we also see an increase in trust in our youth, increased academic outcomes, and also positive emotional, social confidence, which we all know is what makes our youth stronger every day. In addition to our request for our mentoring programs, I would also ask for support and consideration for our child and family mental health group therapy. We serve over 3,000 youth and families every year in mental health, and we know that research is showing our youth need different ways to connect. And through mentoring and group therapy, we know this is an opportunity to connect with kids to create better social engagement and opportunities for better outcomes. So I would like to appreciate you all for the consideration, and I also would like to turn it over to Tina McNutt, who is our Director of Youth Services, real quickly to say a few words.
So thank you so much for doing mentoring almost 20 years. I also want you to consider that this funding not only connects our youth to our volunteer mentors, but you're building a better community because you are supporting the youth, you're supporting your community residents, and you're weaving this web that is all about connectedness and our youth feeling safe. We need your support. We thank you for your efforts and your time and your money. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, the last 6 names will be Lynn Trimble, Amelia Paredes, Julia Burns, Pam Calhoun, Adrian Percival, and Pamela Payne.
Hi, good morning. I'm Lynn Trimble with Choice to Change, and we're a very small nonprofit agency, but we do big things. We started a program called Believe and Achieve, which the county first funded 3 years ago with the first grant cycle. And with the wisdom and knowledge of public safety, with Youth Services Department, this Believe and Achieve program has just grown to be so amazing. The wisdom and guidance, support, everything about it. But what it is, it's a victim restitution sponsorship program. All of our individuals that we work with, our young adults, are individuals in our court system. And we have a community coach that partners up, and we work with other nonprofit agencies with community service, with Choice to Change sponsoring them. Last year, we sponsored over $14,000 in victim restitution with our young adults in our court system. I wouldn't be able to do it without the funding that we get from Youth Services Department and some of our other collaborative partners that support this program. I do have a young man with me that is in our program, if he would be able to just speak for a second.
As long as you state your name.
Hi, I'm Darvin Lucas. I'm with Choice to Change. This program really helped me open my eyes a little bit to see the real world, and it helped me conquer so many things in life already because I done been through so much. It helped me with my hours. It's supposed to be strict, everything, but they make it a way where kids, young men like me, can have the mobility to actually enjoy their time and enjoy their freedom and help you get through life. And probation, restitution, they didn't cover my restitution, and I'm grateful for them. They didn't help me get a job and looking for a job for a long time right now. And I'm just grateful I have Lynn in my corner, because without Lynn in my corner, I would not be here right now. So I just want to thank her for that, and help me in school too. School supplies, she do support me with school supplies, and I really am appreciative to have her in my corner. So.
Thank you.
And we appreciate your consideration for funding again for our services. Thank you.
Good morning, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm Reverend Pam Calhoun, a retired United Methodist minister, and I've had the blessed opportunity to serve Palm Beach County as one of our Florida United Methodist outreach ministries for 36 years. Since my retirement, I have continued to serve as an advocate, particularly in the area of hunger. In my 47 years of service in this county, I have been most proud of how we come together to work together to care for all people, particularly the least of these, our brothers and sisters. This county has a heart, and it takes all of us. It takes all of us, private philanthropy, business, government, including schools and medical, nonprofits, faith groups working together. County government is an integral part of the heart of this county. Each of us depends on you. Please continue to be a part of our system of care. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Adrian Percival. I get to be the president of Palm Beach County National Organization for Women, a Girl Scout troop leader, and the chair for the Industry Council for FAU's Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies. So as an intersectional feminist, I request that you guys honor the recommendations that have been made to fund the children, all the children. The need is great. 2025 is scary. Whatever can be done for all the kids in our community is absolutely essential. I also have the honor of getting to work for Compass LGBTQ Community Center, where we say gay every day. And I'm reminded of a meme that I saw last year that said, we're not trying to turn straight kids into queer kids. We're trying to keep folks from turning queer kids into dead kids. So any funding that you're offering, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Good morning. My name is Julia Burns, and I am both a proud parent and Girl Scout leader here in Palm Beach County. Girl Scouts is amazing because it gives girls the chance to discover who they are, try new things, and see themselves as leaders. It's hands-on, it's fun, and it builds courage and confidence that truly lasts a lifetime. As a troop leader, I've seen girls come in shy, I've seen them unsure, and I've seen them grow into leaders who support each other, they take risks, and they celebrate their accomplishments. As a mother, I've watched my daughter Amelia grow confidently, courage, wonderful friendships. She's learning every day that she can do big things, like write her own speech and come speak to you all today. That's what makes Girl Scouts so special. It's not just an activity, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for every girl to feel strong, confident, supported, and empowered. With your support, more girls in Palm Beach County can share the same growth and confidence. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Amelia Paredes. I'm 8 years old and I'm a Brownie Girl Scout. I love being Girl Scouts because I get to try new things. One of my favorite things I've done is camping. I get to do archery, canoeing, make s'mores, and sleep in cabins. Girl Scouts makes me feel brave and confident. I already know what I want to be when I grow up. Girl Scouts CEO. Girl Scouts makes me know I can do anything. I want to make the world a better place. Girl Scouts makes a big difference in my life. I know it can for other girls too. Thank you.
Sorry. Campaign. Pam's with ARC.
We have several non-speaking cards who said that they are available for questions. So,
Thank you. All right, so board, it's back to us. There are no lights on. Does anybody have any questions for staff? Commissioner Weiss, then Commissioner Sachs.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you very much for your presentation this morning and explaining the work of youth services, your history, and support of the youth here in Palm Beach County. To the folks that came out here today, to those that actually provide the services, I want you to know that I think you all do God's work. What you do is not a job, it's a calling, and I certainly understand that. You know, we talk about investment in our community, investment in our children, and so I did a little math, and it turns out that the investment that is being requested of us is about 4 cents per week per person here in Palm Beach County to have this level of service. It's an investment in resiliency in our youth. And quite frankly, if we don't do it, who will? Unfortunately, we have to rely on ourselves. We've learned that lesson. And I think it was the wisdom of the previous boards who saw the need and put this in place. And I think they were beyond smart. And this isn't about numbers and statistics, because we talk about that. And you all know that that's sort of my place where I want to go. This is about human beings. This is about our community. It's about keeping us safe, and it's ensuring that we have the programs and services to ensure that our kids are going to be able to lead productive lives, contributing to our community. And then lastly, I think that, you know, when I look out in the audience and so many of these faces, of your faces, I know you. I've seen you, I've worked with you, but you all work together. And that's one of the most beautiful things I see in this community is our ability to collaborate. And so for that, I want to thank you all. And with that, Mayor, I would like to make a motion to approve item 3B1 as requested.
I have a motion and a second. I still have some lights on. So, Commissioner Sachs?
Thank you. This is one of the best days I've had here. What a beautiful thing to see so many people working so hard in nonprofits to make our community better. And you've done an amazing job. Thank you so much. I'm a mom, I'm a grandma, I'm a commissioner, and more than anything, I am a member of this community. Thank you for being part of the greater good of Palm Beach County. If I could, I would third that motion to conceptually approve this. I'm going to have a condition, though, and I'd like to see y'all work on Baker Acts for our children. We had an emergency meeting here with hospitals, but it's still undone. And every day that goes by, there's a child or children who are in need of Baker Act proceedings, which we do not have in Palm Beach County. So please, will you, after contract negotiations are completed, our staff is going to come back to us with the final reports. And if we could, please include what you have done, because you've done so much more. You can do this for Baker Act. Second condition, really a commitment, a challenge to y'all. We have hundreds of school children sleeping in cars, at grandma's house, at mommy's boyfriend's house. We can't have this continue. Will you work on that with us? Will you? Because until we have our school children, I have a number, but I can't even believe it's that high, so I'm not going to name it. But after contract negotiations are completed with your groups, our staff will come back and let us know what we can do to take care of those school children. I'm talking about school kids, just to find them homes where they can sleep in their own bed every night. So thank you, Madam Mayor, and I look forward to that commitment coming back. I'd also like to do a shout out to Michelle Gonzalez. I don't know if she's here today, but she's the Chief Executive Officer of the Nonprofit Chamber of Commerce. And she's a tough advocate, which we need. We need tough people here. It's a tough job y'all do. And so I look forward to having you put that commitment together when I see you again after contract negotiations. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioner Woodward.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you for everyone who came to speak today. Not that I'm going to disagree with my colleagues, but there's a couple of points I would like to make. I've had a number of meetings with my own staff and with several nonprofits. And there's a couple concerns that I have. And I listened carefully with the comments today because I was curious how this was going to go, on how much we're talking about the actual individuals that you all serve versus the program versus the partnerships that all exist. And the programs, I believe, are all they're good quality programs, and I am certain that the partnerships are working well with each other as far as collaboration. I heard that word a lot, and I believe it to be true. My concern is the individuals, and I know a number of members of this board and a lot of community members went with us on a trip to Dallas last year. And Dallas created a while back, it was somewhat of a data tracking, and I know, Commissioner Weiss, you mentioned that this isn't about the data, but some of it needs to be, because we've done a good job on you guys reporting on what you do individually, and I know the reports, the monthly, the quarterly, the annual reports, those things are very, very real. My concern is that we're not actually tracking the individuals out there, and Dallas had put something together where they actually are tracking their kids from the time they're entering into whatever system they come into, including kids who don't actually need services ever until the age of 30, because they took the approach that their purpose for existing and doing what they do is to make sure that the kids, when become adults, and that they're really launching their lives by the time the age of 30. That's a pretty good indicator that they have arrived and are becoming successful members of our society and are ready to stand on their own 2 feet, whatever that looks like, whatever their dream is. And there are kids who go through the system and don't need any help. There are kids that come through and are fine for a chunk of their lives. I think one of the nonprofits mentioned people realized something changed in the children, dug into it a little bit, and realized that a big change had happened in their family life. These systems help us catch kids before they fall into a crack. And there are kids, and we know because of the birth of all of this, with the school shootings, that a lot of those kids had been somewhat touched by the system, and wherever they got into, they fell through a crack, and we missed it. And the only way that we don't miss it is we have to track them. And this isn't about invading their privacy, but it is about us keeping up with, what do we have, about 300,000 kids that probably fall in this category, this birth to 22. Are they all okay? And without us really tracking them through all these systems, some of these kids may be touched by a number of nonprofits, and some of these kids are touched by none. And some of them don't need it, but then some of them may. And so my question for staff has been, what can we do to fix that? Because you've done a phenomenal job of working with the nonprofits, and they're proving their worth, so to speak, and they report to us. But how are we tracking our true success for all the kids in this county, all the kids that we want to grow up and to become the best versions of themselves, and that they become members of society who then are sitting out here with all of us and living their best life? And that's the question that I have, and I don't know how we answer that with this funding. But this is a 3-year set of funding. We're moving forward. It is a question we have to ask, and it's a question we need the answer to, not just so that we can be accountable to the taxpayers who are paying for this. That is part of this, but it sets us up for what happens 10, 20, 30 years from now. When I'm in my retirement, I want to know that the kids that are at that age, they're coming up through the system now. We didn't miss them. They didn't fall through cracks. There's no reason for look at all the nonprofits that are here. Look, and there's so many more that aren't even in this room today. The network is there, the web that we've been talking about, it exists. We're helping fund it. We have charts here of all the different funding that goes into all of this. The money's in it, and are we catching them? And the only way that we're going to know for sure that if we missed them is if we do have another tragedy, and that's the goal. We don't want to get to that point. And those kids, we know, they were touched by a system because some adult in their life saw this kid's in trouble. But yet, there was no follow through. And that's the part where, and I don't know if you have an answer for me on that right now, but this right here, all of these charts, it's proof that the programs are working and the collaboration is there, but we're missing that individual connection for the kids that are out there. Do you have an answer for me on that? Okay.
One of the things that has happened, and thank you for bringing up Birth to 22, because one of the things that has happened with Birth to 22 is this report. It's the Palm Beach County Indicators of Child, Family, and Community Risk, Well-Being, and Access to Support. It is published every 2 years and is filled with a lot of data. The data that is included, we are getting from many of the organizations. We're also getting it working closely with the school district, Children's Services Council, Youth Services, and some of the federal statistics that are available. Things that are tracked in this is the number of children that are born healthy, their attachment to caregivers, that they're ready for school, that they're healthy and active, the access to after-school programming. That's just a few examples. What you're asking, though, is on a per-person basis. This is more disaggregated data, tremendous amount of information that is put together every 2 years. But we will take your comments back to the Birth to 22 Steering Committee and see what we can develop that will be able to track individuals on a more individual basis, of course, protecting their privacy rights as we go forward. So we will take that back to the steering committee to see if there is a way that we can individualize the data beyond the disaggregated data that we have here.
Okay. And however this begins, I mean, we should come from a place where we're considering HIPAA, so that we never get to the point where we have to go backwards and do redactions. Like the privacy of the individuals needs to be like step one in this. But again, you know, and a lot of these programs, we know if a child's parent becomes incarcerated, like we know, like that kid's gonna need help. But some of the kids who have gotten themselves into trouble or have taken actions in our society that shock us, they're in affluent schools, or they're in an area where it seems like they should be fine, and they're not. So how are we making sure that this is spread across? Because, you know, when a kid gets in trouble and they get to that point, it's not always apparent why from statistics. The only way we know that for sure is if we're actually looking at each individual kid and that, you know, they're into this. And it's a big ask, I know it is, and anytime we tackle something like this, but this is, you know, just one agenda item. I think this agenda, what are we talking, $12 million? You know, and this is every year, and that's just our part of it. There's multiple partners who are funding this. There's state and federal money that goes into this. So the taxpayers have agreed, they voted for Children's Services Council for this to be created. But if we're not checking every child, you know, no matter if they're in the wealthiest of areas or in the poorest, the kid's going to get in trouble. Those things are what we have to look for.
And I will say that the school district has made tremendous gains, even in the last 10 years, in their mental health and behavioral health screenings and making sure that there is a behavioral health specialist in every single school to be able to identify those things. But we will work with them and the Children's Services Council on a more individual tracking system.
Thank you.
And I'm going to actually have your question answered on a limited basis. But Renee, I hope I'm not embarrassing you, but can you come up, please? Renee Lehman is with the Center for Child Counseling, and I've known and supported this center for, I can't tell you how many years.
A long time.
Can you please tell us what you do for tracking?
Yes, so this, I've been a mental health provider in Palm Beach County for almost 30 years now, and a big part of my career, it's exactly what you're talking about, flying blind with the services that we provide, and being able to look at those long-term outcomes and the impact of ACEs, and not only the short-term, like, okay, we provide individual therapy and we know that they may be doing well 6 months, a year later. What about 10 years in the future, 20 and 30 years? So in 2019, we began the process of building out a data dashboard to measure our public health framework of prevention, early intervention, and treatment. I can share for you today that we now have over 13,000 children in our data dashboard that we are tracking, from centralized intake screening, not only for ACEs and mental health concerns and family stressors, but also for those positive childhood experiences, using the building framework that HOPE from Tufts Medical, Healthy Outcomes from Positive Experiences. So we are tracking them because with our integrated model where we're within childcare centers, schools, pediatric offices, we don't want to duplicate any service that we're providing, and we can see what other services are being provided and assess the needs and provide that warm handoff to supports often to many of the nonprofits that are here within the community. So we're really building that out. We have been doing showcases of that, and we would invite you to be a part of that. We're very proud of it. We have not seen anything like this anyplace else in the nation. A few of you, like Commissioner Baxter, has been able to see it, but we would love to share it. And anytime we have a meeting with a funder, we're talking about API, and that's allowing computers to talk to each other, because at any point, our staff are in about 3 data systems. But we insist in using our data system because we don't know, right? We want to be able to see the big picture, and so having that API would be very helpful, because then we can push and pull data as needed. So I think that's the bigger conversation that needs to happen, because right now what we're doing is we're downloading all of the data and then putting it into our system, or doing sometimes 3 times data entry. And we want our staff to be able to focus on the direct services and not just doing the direct, doing the data entry. So I could talk a lot about it and what we've done, and it's been, sometimes tears, a lot of pain over the last 3 years. Since 2019, oh my goodness. But thank you, Maria. Any questions about it? Or
Actually, Commissioner Woodward does have some questions.
Yes, actually, I did. And thank you for the work that you've done. I would like to see it. And I guess my question was going to be, and the rest of the board would need to weigh in on this, but I'm curious, in all of this, whose role should that be? I mean, are we, the county, suited to help with this process? I mean, we're right now, we're a funder. We do provide services. We have someone who's doing some of this tracking. 13,000, that's an amazing number. However, there's hundreds of thousands of,
I know. We've had county level discussions, and I know I was a part of a discussion in 2019 where I shared what we would be doing. And it was like, no, don't worry about it. We're doing that. And nothing has been done. And we like to act on things. My mantra is action is the antidote to anxiety. So we tend to move fast and get things done. When we see so many kids that are suicidal, and this is to prevent, you talked about the Baker Acts. That public health approach of the prevention, early intervention, is to prevent those Baker Acts, right? That's starting early, being able to track the data, the family stressors, looking at the big picture and collaborating with all of our partners in doing that. It does have to be a bigger conversation that includes everybody and all of our funders, and how do we invest in systems that talk to each other and we can share the data. Right? So it's a big stress on us. We are lucky to have a private donor who's invested a lot of money in this. He has made it possible for us, but there's no county funding or any entity right now that's funding this for us. It's all of a private business and a donor investment.
Okay. I would like to have further discussion with you, and I think it's something that we'll need to, in a future meeting, have this. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. And Administrator Abruzzo, your light is on. Okay. Who has questions for Renee? Greg, you do, right?
I'm just going to say, Renee, that thank you for the work that you do and all the research that you all are doing as well. But I was going to say, in just listening what you're talking about and your needs, there are universities around here that are very good in dealing with technology, and what you're talking about is very solvable. People should not be entering data more than once, or they shouldn't even be doing that, quite frankly. And we have the tools available today.
But if your system doesn't have an API, that's
APIs can be created.
Exactly right, but
using this technology. You don't need coders anymore to create these APIs, but that knowledge exists within our education sector here in higher education. It should be a relatively easy reach to get some some.
Sometimes, but there's HIPAA that becomes a lot more complex than.
I'm just saying that.
I know,
There
but
are
that's the bigger
resources.
call to action that I think as a community that we need to discuss. And we partner with Florida State University, and they're actually doing research on our model and what we're doing, and we're in our data dashboard looking at that.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, I know that we have hackathons going on where they're trying to help nonprofits and that sort of thing, and so there are people looking to use their skills to help other
I agree.
organizations, so.
Renee, thank you. And
Thank
I
you.
didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I
No,
just wanted to show
I'm used to
that,
it,
you know, I've known you how many years now? But I just
Thank
wanted to
you.
show that there are ways, and as a community with, I mean, when you say we have 7,000 nonprofits in our community, we say that for a reason. It's because this is where the money is. So people come and start nonprofits here. We have to make sure that the nonprofits that we're helping are really do have an impact in the community. And when you think that you know, the state legislature gives money to nonprofits also. I mean, they wrote a check to Elves for Autism for $1 million this year. So us being on board helping the nonprofits is something that, you know, a partnership is a partnership. And again, this is not something that we want to do. We don't want to be doing these programs when there's people in the community that do the programs. So that's the whole reason that we're sitting here today and talking about this. But monitoring it, as Commissioner Woodward brought up, and thank you, Renee, again, for letting me call you on the carpet. There are opportunities for that, and maybe Commissioner Weiss can continue that discussion in the future. I do have more lights on. Vice Mayor Baxter.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And thank you for all the nonprofits that came today. You know, it's really easy to sit up here and support anything that supports children. As a mother of two, I love kids, I love helping them. It's also really easy for us to forget a bigger picture here, that regardless of how we support them, they're all taxpayer dollars. I've made this argument a couple times now, and to Commissioner Woodward's point, we do also have the CSC, which is the Children's Services Council. And that was a taxpayer-voted special taxing unit. So they get their own millage rate, and we set it every year. It's one of the boards I'm on. And they get roughly $150 million a year to help children. That is amazing, and I couldn't think of a better way to do that, and the taxpayers voted for that. One of the things I've pointed out on this board a few times now is that we shouldn't be, in my opinion, in the children's business. One of the things I have recently discovered, though, is that the Children's Services Council focuses mostly currently on 5 years and under. We have this program that has come to us that is focusing, or we are spending more of our dollars on the over 5 years of age, but also have been working with the Children's Services Council to adjust to also include the children over 5, but we're not there yet. I will say that it is easy to sit here and also forget the people at home. We forget that there are senior citizens living on fixed incomes, roughly making $2,000 a month, and then they have an $8,000 a year tax bill, who are splitting up their medications, who can't afford to take them because our taxes keep going up. So we need to be very cognizant that when we spend money, it should be the most effective and efficient to help residents. And how do we do that? We partner, I'm getting emotional, so forgive me. We partner with private sector people. So I want to thank the nonprofits that come here and help us to do this in the best effective and efficient way possible. It helps us keep those taxpayer dollars down, but at the same time, we want to make sure that nonprofits are being held accountable, because there are some bad actors out there that don't necessarily do what they say they're doing. So I want to make sure we work with staff and we work with them, and we make sure that those taxpayer dollars that are being spent to help these children are serving the children and are not just getting wasted. I would also still like to continue us as a county moving out of youth and funding them, because at a self-funded source of $150 million a year, I don't think this should continue to come to us, and I would like to see us reduce this amount going forward year after year until we can get it fully under the Children's Services Council, where I think that's what taxpayers voted for. They wanted these dollars under them. I am going to support this today because I feel the nonprofits here do an amazing job and they're doing a great job. But as previously stated by Commissioner Weiss, this was put in place by a previous board. And those boards got to meet with and hear from and understand all the programs and what those nonprofits do that they voted on. We as a newer commission did not. So going forward, I would like to see more information brought to us. I would like to see what they're doing different, because if we have 10 nonprofits providing the same exact service, why are we giving 10 different people the same money to do the same thing? We need to get rid of duplication. We've recently had Doge come visit us. I'm sure we're gonna get a report on our efficiency in the county. They're gonna come to us and say, why are you doing this? How can we explain spending taxpayer dollars from the CSC and from the county on what is supposed to be the same demographic? So going forward, I'm just asking staff to please be cognizant of that and cognizant that these are not our dollars. These are what taxpayers pay in. And I don't believe that we should be having a duplication of services within that realm. We really should be considering those people at home that can't afford these taxes that keep going up year after year. We did cut millage rate, but we know how that goes too. It is one of these things that I want to make sure that we are understanding. There are people barely staying in their homes, people can't afford medications, and they can't afford food. It is, again, the easiest thing in the world to sit here and support children. The easiest thing. The easier thing is to forget that there are other people that can't be here today that we also need to support. So thank you, guys.
Commissioner Powell and then Commissioner Flores.
I should turn it on. Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I'm in contrast to Vice Mayor Baxter on this particular issue. I do believe that it's our responsibility to make sure that we are funding organizations that are looking out for our children. Children don't choose to be here. I know that a part of the order that we had from July 8th was to look at the duplication of services between the Children's Services Council and what the community-based organizations and youth services are doing here at the county. I also am challenged with the understanding that many of the nonprofits that you all are working for or working with or servicing are not sole source. You know, it's not just that you receive funding from the county. It's not that you just receive funding from CSC or maybe even, and I'll tell you, Mayor, when an organization receives funding from the state, I can tell you that's a painstaking process to get anything through the budget, especially for a nonprofit. To get money from the state is not easy. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to get money from the state for your entity, your agency. And a lot of times, your senator, your representative, your lobbyist, your CEO are all working it with the president of the Senate, the Speaker of the House, and even the governor's office. The challenge, I know so many of you, we've worked together, I've spoken to you. Young man, I want to applaud you for having the ability to come up here and speak. That's, especially as a young person who does not do this every day, it's very challenging to get up and even get your thoughts out. And I've been doing this for a long time. Sometimes it's difficult for me to get my thoughts out. I need to be a little bit more concise sometimes, but there's a lot that goes into this. Jeff DeMario, my wife's leadership Palm Beach County classmate. Jeff, you and I ran into each other several years ago when I was in the legislature. I don't know if I was in the House at the time. And one of my interns was a young man who had gone through Vita Nova. I didn't know that at the time. And the impact of when Jeff walked into my office and they saw each other, and that young man went on to graduate from college and come back to Palm Beach County and is working in the county and has done a lot of different things. The one-on-one, you cannot put a quantitative measure on a qualitative issue and qualitative responses. I heard someone speak earlier with regard to the sheriff and the crime rate in Palm Beach County going down, I'm always challenged when we look at the crime rate going down and we look at one variable and we say, it's because of the great work of the sheriff. And that may be partially true. But there's something about statistics. You can make statistics do whatever you want them to do when you do numbers. But I can tell you a lot of the organizations that are in this crowd today, the work that you've done by keeping people either off the streets or mentally stable, sometimes we cannot quantify that. And we look at the data and we want to follow the data for the next, we're looking at from birth to 22, but maybe from birth to 30. Those are things that you really want to account for. Pathways to prosperity, the work that you've done, and the number of youth and adults who you've served. All of the work that you put in is something that I want to make sure while I'm here, and I'll be here until somebody beats me, right? Or until I turn out, right? I want to make sure that as an advocate, this is something that I'm able to watch and to make sure we secure. I see the funding for CSC for the year 2024. Let me look at this again. 2024-2025 fiscal year, the funding for CSC is $126,748,219,000. And that's for the different programs that the Children's Services Council will sponsor. What the county is doing with less than $12 million is a drop in the bucket. And what you all are able to do is just a small fraction of what we do when we work together. I want to thank staff, and I want to congratulate you on the number of awards that our youth services and our community-based agencies have continued to get. Tammy, you spoke about, thank you. I have to take these on and off and on and off. But you spoke earlier with regard to the sanctuary. I noted it.
The sanctuary model of trauma-informed care.
That's a big deal.
It is a big deal. Palm Beach County is the only government agency in the state of Florida to be able to receive that certification, and is only one of 3 governmental agencies who have received that certification in the United States. It is an international certification going all the way to Australia. I keep saying they should send me on a trip there, but it is an international certification that really recognizes how we approach children who have trauma, so that they can build resilience and be able to cope when they're adults.
Thank you for that. The children and our seniors, Vice Mayor, you spoke about our seniors and being able to stay in their homes. That's very important as well. We've got resources in Palm Beach County, and we need to utilize them to the best of our ability. But the late Whitney Houston had a song, and it was the greatest love of all, that said that I believe the children are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. We, as adults, we have the ability to inspire, and we can continue to do that. And it's our responsibility to make that investment. The greatest investment is not an investment in infrastructure, an investment in land. Those are great investments, absolutely. But the greatest investment that you could make, and that I've ever made, has been the investment in people. It's called human capital. It's called social capital. It's who do you call when you don't have anyone in your family who you know, who you can speak to? You speak to the people who've spoken life into you. And a lot of times as young people, there may not be somebody else who's speaking life into a person. Life and death abide in the power of the what? The tongue. They say sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt you. Words will kill you. So we have to speak life. And I want to make sure while I'm here that we're doing everything in our power. Yes, follow the data. Let's make sure that the programs are working. But we have tracking mechanisms to make sure they're getting the dollars, and we do these annual reports every year. And the nonprofits that are not strong and are not doing what they're supposed to do, they disappear. They fail to exist. So it's up to us to make sure this small investment is the biggest investment that we can make. That's the investment in people. With that, I close.
Thank you.
Or we're done.
Commissioner Flores.
Thank you.
All right, where to begin? I guess I'll start with Commissioner Weiss's comments, and I want to ask him to repeat it one more time. You did the math on this, right? And you said it was how many per week?
It's 4 cents per week.
4 cents.
Yeah.
4 cents per week. You know, I think this is just an investment into our community. I think when you see a community thrive is because you have investments that you have made into the community. I think it's because we care. I think it shows that we want to make sure that nobody falls through the crack. And even though we're making a very small investment, I consider this very small compared to the grand scheme of things. When you look at the county's budget, overall budget is $9 billion. Yet we're talking about allocating $12 million to youth, behavioral, substance abuse. So we're making a very small contribution towards a very large problem, which, by the way, we're only scratching the surface. The need is far greater that these dollars go. The request that we received today was 3 times what we're actually giving them. We're only scratching the surface. And I see it. I see it every single day. I see it in my community. I see it as I'm driving in here. I see it everywhere, that we're only scratching the surfaces. So when I see these nonprofits wanting to step up and doing God's work, by the way, because you stretch a dollar as far as a dollar can be stretched. To me, it's an investment because it signals that we want to live in a great community. I sit on the Criminal Justice Board, and I see the back end of the problems that we have. I see when people are going into the system. I think what we have to realize is, do we want to fund them the issues at the end? When they go through, they create issues in the community, they come out with a record, now we got to figure out a mechanism, decide whether we want to, build another jail and continue to have that population continue to grow, or do we catch it on the front end? Do we invest in our people, in our youth, in our families? It's not easy out there, folks. I have kids, moms, dads, sleeping in cars. I got the school district back here. I know they're here because they care. And all we're doing is just making a very tiny investment to help each dollar help a family, help a children. Yeah, we can talk about Doge, or we can talk about efficiency and tracking kids. But at the end of the day, without the dollars, we can't track anybody. Without the dollars, we can't see the impact that it has in our communities. I seen it firsthand. Green Acres, I think I saw them on here getting $33,000. Green Acres is one of the very few programs that offers middle school and high school kids a place to go after school. $33,000 to help like 60 kids over a year-long program. These are kids that are growing up in a safe place who have become great students who are now working at youth services department, and some of them are either in the PBSO and some are even in fire rescue. Because of the work that they had a safe place to go after school. I'm one of those kids. I grew up with my mom, my sister, my grandparents all in the same household. And after school, I had to figure out where to go. Thank God I like sports. But every day after school, I went to the Boys and Girls Club. So I'm a product of the Boys and Girls Club. I had a safe place to be. Some of my friends were out slinging drugs. Some of my friends from high school are no longer here. So I've lived it. I haven't been in the ivory tower. I know what it's like on the ground. And the work that you guys do matters. It has an impact. And we need more. We need more of an investment into this area. So if we have to pay a little tiny millage more to just make it go to our youth and to our families and to the parents, I think you talked about a parent who lost his spouse. Those stories are real. So I am in full support of this, as you can hear. If we need to track the kids, let's figure out a way to do that. I'm all about data tracking, but thank you for the work that you guys are doing. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Administrator Abruzzo.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and I wanted to thank Senator/Commissioner Powell for explicitly pointing out staff. They have, in my extreme brief time here, I saw firsthand how you all work so hard, really in three key areas. Number one, organizing the material for our board to make whatever decisions they deemed appropriate. And then, of course, working with our community partners in the nonprofit world and all the time you put into vetting them and making sure they are doing what they are supposed to be doing for our community, and then, of course, our government partners. So thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to thank our staff, especially Deputy Administrator Fields and Director Kramer, your entire team, everybody at the table, and those who aren't with us today who are working diligently in your department. Appreciate all your hard work. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think I'll wrap this up with a story. You all have heard me over and over again talk about the Runner Tutorial Center. Years ago, the county did a $600,000 matching grant to that center so that we could build 3 classrooms. We had to actually raise more than $600,000 because, of course, it went over budget, and permitting took a really long time, just saying. And there were a lot of things that happened along the way. But what that did for the center was actually double the amount of kids that we could take. So we went from 60 kids to 124 kids. And when people ask me how many children I have, I always say I have 124 because I was never able to have children, but always donated my time and my resources to agencies that take care of kids. Again, thanks, Renee. So that center doubled in size, and that meant our impact to the kids in that community, kids that might be from a single parent household, might be living with a grandmother or a grandfather or an aunt. We were able to double the impact of the kids that we could help. And oftentimes an agency does a little bit of mission creep because of something that's happening in there, and the Tutorial Center actually did a little bit of mission creep, but with good reason. Because we were able to expand the size, the footprint of the property, we were now able to start programs for the parents or aunts or grandparents of these kids to learn how to interview so they could go and get a job, have community meetings in the center so we could bring in everyone from Limestone Creek. This is where we actually have our a lot of times we have our Limestone Creek community meetings at the center because now we have the ability to have the room. So when we talk about the investment that the county is making in our kids and our families and whatever programs that we're doing, I'm just giving an example of how that agency has helped. And not only that, a lot of the kids that have come through the agency come back and volunteer, come back and tutor, have come back to be employees, have gotten their masters and their doctorates. So when you talk about having an impact in the community, this one so does. And so do a lot of the other agencies that are in this room today. There's a lot of dollars that you all need. We know that. I am one of those people that is always trying to look at where we can cut tax dollars. But if we invest here now, that saves us in the long run later from when we have to try to care for folks that, if they had been paid attention to earlier on in life, where it's a lot less expensive to give them care and nurturing than later on in life when they may be incarcerated, or the mental health or the physical health and well-being of folks carries a larger price tag. So I see no other lights on. We have a first, a second, a third, a fourth. All those in favor of a motion to conceptually approve 3B1, aye? Say aye. Any opposed? See that that motion carries 7-0. I know we might have a little
Mayor?
change in staff. There may be a few people. We are going to go on to item.
Mayor, if I may?
Yes.
Before the staff leaves, please. I did make a commitment. I asked you to make that commitment to us and the county commission for those two issues, Baker Act and housing for our children. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that was clear. Thank you.
So we're going to move on to item 3C1. And I just wanted to say that we're going to try to do a hard stop at 12:30 for lunch, and then we'll come back after that. So we have 16 cards. Why don't we just, 17 cards. Everyone exit to stage. Well, it would be my right, your left. We appreciate all of you being here today. We did have a little change in staffing. We've had a couple of commissioners walk off at the moment. How about now that we've gotten the children out of the equation and now we're going to community services, how long is this presentation?
You can just answer questions if you like. Yeah.
Well, I do know that, we do have folks in the audience that do want to speak. We have 17 or 18 cards. Why don't we go ahead and let them speak, and if after that the board has more questions, then we will send our questions your way.
That works.
Okay, Commissioner Woodward, you're in charge of the cards. Vice Mayor Baxter in charge of the cards and clocks.
All right, I'll call the first six. Trudy Krowitz, Jeffrey Zerolnik, Catherine Doe, Sarah Needleman, Kelly Powell, and Anne Marie Drapeau.
Hey, Trudy.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Trudy Krowitz, and I'm CEO of Nonprofits First. And I'm here today to speak in strong support of continuing funding for community-based agencies in Palm Beach County. These agencies are not just service providers. They are the backbone of our community's health, resilience, and economic vitality. In fact, community-based agencies in Palm Beach County employ nearly 25,000 people and generate $5.2 billion in revenue, contributing $1.25 billion in annual wages. These organizations are economic engines and trusted partners in community development. Of the proposed allocations of community-based agencies, 30 of these agencies are accredited through Nonprofits First. This accreditation is a mark of excellence. It means these organizations are well-run, compliant, and committed to best practices in governance, financial stewardship, and service delivery. These are not just passionate organizations. They are professionally managed and held to high standards of accountability. Community-based agencies also save taxpayer dollars. They leverage private donations and operate efficiently. According to the Urban Institute, every dollar invested in human services yields $1.50 to $2 in value. and the National Institute on Drug Abuse reports that every dollar invested in addiction treatment saves $4 to $7 in criminal justice and healthcare costs. This is not just about budgets. It's about people. It's about ensuring that our residents have access to the community services that they need to thrive. These agencies serve our most vulnerable populations, addressing urgent needs in youth development, mental health, hunger relief, housing, substance recovery, and career readiness. So today I urge you to approve the continuing funding for community-based agencies, to recognize the unmatched value nonprofits bring to our economy, and to ensure funding decisions reflect the real needs of our residents. Your support ensures that community-based agencies can continue to serve hundreds of thousands of residents across Palm Beach County. Let's protect and prioritize nonprofit funding, because when nonprofits thrive, the entire community thrives. Thank you.
Good morning. We're still at morning. My name is Jeff Sorolnik, and I am the CEO of JARC Florida, serving adults with developmental and intellectual disabilities. I have no skin in the game. We are not one of your recipients, but I am here to urge you to continue to fund that gap that many of our nonprofits face, that without your support, services would be cut back and hundreds, if not thousands of individuals would be left without a place to go, a place to turn when they have a need, and the importance of receiving services that make a difference and give them a quality of life. So I ask you not only to consider now, but please continue to develop strategies and plans so that you can support these entities long into the future and help them develop strategies that they can become stronger and be less of a burden on the county while they're serving a greater number of individuals out in our community. Thank you for your time and your efforts.
Hold on one second.
Hold on.
Commissioner Sachs has a
Yeah, hello,
question.
Mr. Zarelli. Good to see you.
Hi, Maria.
Thank
How are you?
Yeah, good to see you, Jeff. I want everyone to know that you're not on this list for receiving funding, but what you do with those who have intellectual and physical disabilities is you empower them to be proud of themselves and find jobs.
Yes, it's all about dignity and pride and receiving that paycheck and feeling that they can be a contributing member of our society.
And I just want to ask you two questions, and I appreciate Mayor for letting me speak to one of our folks here. How many people does JARC serve presently?
We serve 160 every day in our day program and have 113 in our residential programs. We're in the process of building a new 12,000 square foot life skills center, and tomorrow we're breaking ground on our 11th group home.
Very good. And all of this is done through private donations?
Private non-funding donations, yes.
And okay, so thank you so much for that. And I want to thank you for coming and speaking on behalf of all the other agencies who really should follow the lead of what you do at JARC. Thank you so much,
Thank
Mr.
you very, very
Zarelli.
much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
everything you all do to make our community better.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah Needleman, and I am a social worker serving Palm Beach County. Today, I implore you to approve the vital funding for our community-based agencies. In my role, I support LGBTQIA+ individuals battling substance abuse. I witness every day that addiction is rarely solely about the substance itself. It often stems from deeper issues such as isolation, trauma, housing instability, and insufficient access to affirmative mental health care. Community-based agencies are uniquely positioned to tackle these challenges head-on. As a social worker, I recognize that well-being is a multifaceted continuum. To effectively help individuals, we must consider the community surrounding them. For my clients, organizations like Compass serve as more than just service providers. They are indispensable lifelines that offer prevention, education, and a sense of belonging, effectively intervening before crises escalate. Investing in these agencies is not only a wise use of public funds, but also a profound ethical imperative. A society's true character is measured by how it supports its most vulnerable members. This investment also makes economic sense. Every dollar spent on community-based prevention translates into substantial savings on emergency services, incarceration, and the devastating human costs associated with addiction and homelessness. If this funding is not approved, we risk widening critical gaps in care. The message this sends our most marginalized residents, transgender youth, seniors, people of color, and those living in poverty, is that their survival is not a priority. As a transgender woman and a social worker, I can tell you that this funding is a matter of life or death for many in our communities. Your vote today is more than a line item. It reflects our nation's core values. It signifies a commitment to compassion, community, and a vision where everyone has the resources they need, not just to endure, but to truly thrive. I urge you to stand with our community and fund these essential agencies. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you again for the opportunity to speak. My name is Kelly Powell, CEO at Community Partners of South Florida, and I would just like to also share a little information about our programs and the return on investment that we're seeing in the community and the cost it takes for us to run these programs. Regarding our community-based therapy, the allocation that we receive from the county's behavioral health services allows us to serve over 650 people, clients each year at the cost of about $223 per client. That really allows us to provide services to each client that range from resilience, strengthening, decrease the public resources, potentially increasing productivity in the community. We know that the community-based therapy behavioral health focuses on supporting both direct care and related community services that extend beyond that direct care, generating significant value for the community. As we know, these investments also help with reducing costs for hospitalization, law enforcement needs, shelters, and loss of productivity. In addition, we're very proud of the work we're doing in our Securing Our Future Initiatives program. With that, we are very proud that this flagship effort has reduced child poverty and strengthened economic mobility for families through a two-generation wraparound model. Excuse me. By integrating support such as case management, training, housing, financial coaching, this program allows us to really address the root causes of generational poverty. Each participating household is associated with a net return on investment from the research we have done with the families we are serving of approximately $85,000 to $149,000 a year in their economic development. We have seen incredible success stories through this program, moving people from out of poverty into home ownership. We have several families within our own program that have actually bought homes through us during this time. So to us, that is one of the best success stories there is, really looking at generational poverty. We know that this program yields broader economic and social advantages such as enhanced community stability. And we also just want to take a moment to thank you all for the consideration for funding. I know earlier we were talking about tracking families and tracking how the outcomes are for each person. And as Renee Lehman, we are also working in Salesforce tracking to ensure that we're not duplicating services, to really look at all the services that are required. And we've shared that with the county to help expand that. So together, I think we are all working closely to ensure moving forward. So we're proud that you guys are interested in that as well. So thank you very much, and we appreciate the consideration.
Good morning. Thank you so much for hearing all of our comments and being here. Thank you also to our colleagues from the Community Services Department, all of your good work in supporting our county, supporting all of the people of our county. My name is Catherine Doe. I'm the Mental Health Director at Compass Community Center, located in Lake Worth Beach, serving all of Palm Beach County. I'm also a person with lived experience with mental health challenges. I'm a mental health therapist. I've been here working at Compass since 2019. I'm speaking today, though, not only in support of the new programs that this funding would make possible at Compass, but really in support of all of the county's efforts to improve the behavioral health, substance use, and co-occurring disorders programming. I've been very impressed with recent efforts and look forward to this next step with the Commission's support. In 2024, the Commission approved a comprehensive behavioral health and substance use disorder plan, advancing a resilience and recovery ecosystem of care. Having read the close to 100-page plan, I'm impressed and proud to be a member of of Palm Beach County and a part of this ecosystem of care. This plan was developed by a community advisory board with community input and represents a huge step forward for services in our county. The notice of funding opportunity aligned closely with this plan, another accomplishment for our county, aligning resources with these community priorities. Requests were then rigorously reviewed. We'll hear all about that, I'm sure. And the recommended awards that come from this represent the next step in Palm Beach County's efforts to support our communities, to improve behavioral health, substance use, and co-occurring disorder services, and reach people where they are, where we are. One of my focuses as a mental health provider is in trauma recovery, reducing the negative impacts of past trauma, increasing resilience, building toward the life that someone wants, individually and in community. We heard earlier about the impacts of ACEs on youth and on youth as they grow up as adults. Adults in our community continue to experience traumatic events and instability that makes healing from trauma and rebuilding lives even more difficult. If we think about the three-phase trauma model of trauma treatment, the first phase is stabilization. In order to support people in stabilizing, we look at social determinants of health and ensuring people are connecting to a web of resources, an ecosystem of care. With stabilization, I've witnessed people moving through deep healing, rebuilding, and building their lives. The two new programs at Compass have this as our foundation, as well as I know many of the partners that we work with across the county, those represented in this room and outside. The people of our county are counting on us and counting on you to take this next step in ensuring these crucial funds. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Sherry Henry, and I'm the CEO for HAB Center Boca Raton. And I wanted to start off by recognizing Commissioner Weiss' comment earlier and echoed by Commissioner Flores that nonprofits are doing God's work. I am very fortunate to serve this organization, HAB Center Boca Raton. We have been in the county for 47 years. And this October, we have our proclamation sponsored by Commissioner Sachs celebrating our 47th anniversary. We serve individuals with developmental differences and mental health challenges. Our programs start at 22 years old, and the oldest individual we have currently is 78 years old. We're very proud to be accredited by Nonprofits First, as Trudy Crowitz came up earlier and spoke about that. And that just speaks to the level of exceptionality that HAB Center operates under. I want to thank my team for being the key to providing mental health counseling, vocational training, programs in education, art, and recreation for this population. 60% of the individuals that we serve are from Palm Beach County, and we serve 200 individuals annually. In this past year, we've hired 120 individuals in our sheltered workshop setting, which is our manufacturing center, and our plant nursery, which also does horticultural programming. And we've placed over 38 individuals out in the community in partners of ours. They are doing social media work, they're doing hospitality work, they are working as peer counselors, for example, at South County Mental Health. The HAB Center is really proud to be able to serve this population, and we are so thankful for the county support that has really set us up for success to be able to do that. We are currently recipients of the FAA funding, and we are just here to advocate for continued funding for all of the nonprofits and to really thank the county for everything that you've been able to do. I want to share a quick success story. We have a recent graduate from somewhere in West Boca, and this individual is 22, had been home for several months with no hope, no direction on where to go. And the HAB Center was able to work with that individual, go on job interviews, help with career coaching, help with resume writing. Literally, we're a resource for the supervisors, and she's now working at a Sprouts supermarket. And that brings hope and purpose to people, and that's what the HAB Center does. We are a space for enrichment for people who are 87% unemployed. And I just want to say thank you so much for your support, and please continue to support our programs.
Commissioner Sachs, hold on a second.
Ms. Henry, you're amazing. Thank you so much for all you do. Want everybody to understand that this program has been around for many, many years, and many of the folks who work there do great plantings. And I look forward to one day the county buying your plants for our uses. So thank you so much for what you do, because you give people dignity.
Thank you so
And-
much.
and a
And I
purpose
invite
in
you all
life.
to visit for a tour.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next 6 names, we have Jamie Kendall, Wendell Jackson, Stephanie Thompson, Jeff DeMario, Christina Lucier, and Joey Neves on the same card, Lori George.
And we have two microphones. Oh, sorry.
She got it.
Well, I guess we still have 20 minutes of the morning left. So good morning, commissioners. My name is Jamie Kendall, and I'm the proud CEO of the Palm Beach County Food Bank. I stand before you today not just as an advocate for our organization, but as a voice for the countless nonprofits across the county and the vital partners in building a stronger, healthier Palm Beach County. We are so fortunate to live in a community rich with resources, yet the reality is that many of our neighbors face daily struggles. Here in Palm Beach County, over 192,000 people are food insecure. That's nearly 13% of our population. Over 50,000 of those are children. These are not just numbers, these are friends, our neighbors, and the very fabric of our community. This is where the power of nonprofits in strong partnership with our county becomes inevitably clear. Nonprofits are often the first responders to these crises, deeply embedded within the communities that we serve. We understand the unique needs, we build trust, and we deliver essential services with an agility and efficiency that complements all of the government efforts. From providing nutritious meals, safe housing, and mental health support, to offering job training and care for our seniors and veterans, nonprofits fill the critical gaps that uplift lives every day. Beyond the profound human impact, these partnerships also represent incredible fiscal responsibility for our taxpayers. Consider the Palm Beach County Food Bank. For every single dollar donated, we can distribute over 5 meals. Our extensive network of nearly 200 partner agencies, many of who sit in front of you today, powered by dedicated staff and thousands of volunteers, allows us to stretch resources further, innovate faster, and reach more people than any single entity could alone. This model of collaboration, which is a word you have heard many times today, serves the county significantly taxpayer dollars, preventing larger, more complex, and untimely, more expensive social and health crises down the line. We are not just providing food, we are investing in health, stability, and the future of our workplace in the county. The county's commitment to supporting nonprofits through funding and collaborative initiatives is not merely an expense, it's a strategic investment. It's an investment in a resilient social safety net, in the well-being of our children and seniors, and in the economic vitality of the whole county. When you support us, you empower us to do more, to innovate further and ensure that every resident has the opportunity to thrive. Commissioners, I urge you to continue to strengthen the County Community Services Department's vital role in partnering with and funding the nonprofit sector. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Jeff.
Hi. Good morning, good afternoon, Commissioners. Again, my name is Jeff DeMario. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for Vita Nova. Good afternoon to our partners in the audience and friends. Vita Nova receives funding from FAA, and I stand in support of this funding and just want to tell you some things that may not be in a presentation today. Vita Nova makes an investment of $6,750 through this funding per youth to help youth become more stable and chronic homelessness and get on their feet. I think the thing you need to know about this funding that's probably a salient point today is that the youth we're working with are 18 to 25 years old, and these youth are not at the same starting place as most youth that are 18 to 25. That's why the business sector can't just take this on with this apprentice programs and internship programs. There needs to be an intervention before our youth enter those systems or those processes, because they need a little more encouragement. They need the life skills that weren't trained. Look, there's a lot of nuance about having a family and talking to your kids. It happens at the dinner table, like I spoke about. It happens at nighttime. You are teaching life skills as a parent. A lot of our youth that are from the foster care system or homeless miss those opportunities, and as a result, when they turn 18, the starting point is completely different. But here's another interesting point. It's not just about money, as it is other things that's provided through FAA support. You know, I happen to believe that when we help a youth figure out their true potential, they're also living to their purpose. And so what happens is a youth is able to find work that they love to do. And so when a youth is working, we know that they're less likely to do other things like crimes, or less likely to take other high-risk behaviors. And so by helping through this funding, we're helping youth find employment in their true purpose. In addition, we're closing the gap for older youth. This 18 to 25-year-old situation is a little bit of a mystery. You know, at 18, you're an adult and supposed to know all this stuff. You don't. You still need life support. And so this helps close that gap. Look, we're breaking cycles of poverty and long-term homelessness with this funding. We're aligning county priorities. I won't go into that because I'm sure it's in the presentation. And then finally, we know that early intervention is really a lasting intervention. And so thank you for your support today and for listening to me, and thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Wendell Jackson. I am a part of the youth program at Vita Nova. I'm 21 years old, and I found out about Vita Nova at the age of 20 after being homeless for 3 years. At the time where I felt that I was completely hopeless and at my wit's end, Vita Nova came through and they helped me pave the way. When going to Vita Nova, I had a resume set, but I didn't know how to speak to employers, and nor did I know how to keep the job and be able to have reliable transportation there. And that's where Vita Nova stepped in. I was able to join the program for the employment services, and during my time, the case manager was able to sit down with me. She helped me understand how to make a budget, how to save for emergency funds, and how to save for my future. Not only that, the case manager sat down with me and she helped me understand how to reform my resume to really help me understand what employers are looking for. Not only that, they provided me with professional clothing, and any chance they had, they would sit down with me and do pre-interviews. So anytime I would go to any interview that was presented to me, I would be extremely knowledgeable, and I would go into the interview prepared for anything the interviewer would throw at me. And quite frankly, they showed me the importance of asking questions with the interviewer. It showed me that I really should have been doing it from my very first job, quite frankly. But I really, really want to just say that Vita Nova helped me in such a short amount of time with their employment services, case management services, financial services. I currently now work as the executive assistant for integrated healthcare systems, and I can say that I am so much higher in my life than I'd ever thought I'd be before. And quite frankly, I just want to give a huge shout out to integrated healthcare systems for accepting me and allowing me to just show my potential. And I can say if it had not been for their social services support and their on-the-job training, I wouldn't be here speaking to you all today. And I want to thank you all for giving me the option to just come up here and speak to you all. And I just want to say that I come to you all today. I just ask for your support and funding for the employment services for all homeless youth that Vita Nova connects with, such as myself. I know myself and all my peers, we want to work and we want to contribute, but we don't have the services and we don't have the service and support that Vita Nova offers. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's what we need more examples of.
Hi, I am Debbie Lee Thomasette. I'm with the Arc of the Glades. As many other people have stated today, we in the nonprofit world are united. We do a lot of collaborating together. We do a lot of supporting each other, and we believe in each other's missions. We serve the developmentally and intellectually and developmentally disabled adults in the western part of Palm Beach County, known as the Glades. One of the things that makes us a little different than many of the other providers in the same type of service is where we are located. We've had clients we have to pick up at the convenience store because they don't know where they're at the night before. We have, it's a food desert out there, so there's a lot of hunger issues. So we provide breakfast, snack, and lunch for our clients, just as they would say at school. And then we also send food boxes home to the families, so they have food on their table throughout the week. We employ our clients. One of our programs is providing job training, and we pay them minimum wage for whatever they do around our facility. And that check goes home to help support the family. It's not just for fun and games. Many of our families rely on that paycheck. So what will happen if services are stopped? There will be an increased chance of institutionalization for the residents of Palm Beach County. The cost of institutionalization is around $124,870 a year on average, where the cost to continue providing services in the community total, including what we get from the county, is around $37,000 a year. So you're talking almost $90,000 a year. It would cost taxpayers more to keep them in state institutions. Not only that, but if the service is stopped, many of their caregivers have to quit working as well because they need supervision and support throughout the day. Many of them cannot safely be alone at home. So that means a caregiver loses employment if service is stopped. That increases your hunger and homelessness in an area that is already impacted by this. In addition to the caregiver, like I said, we employ about 27 individuals. So that means they lose their job as well.
Thank you. We understand.
Thank you. Can I, Mayor?
Hold on a second. Commissioner Sachs?
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it. Hi. Where'd you go? Come on up here. What's her last name? Thomas? Hi, Miss Thomas?
Thomasette.
Thomasette. There you go. Didn't have my glasses on. Ms. Thomasette, do you represent the ARC of Palm Beach County as well as the Glades?
No.
Okay. Is there someone here who represents ARC of Palm Beach County?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. I'll wait for you to speak. Thank you for your work.
Yeah, we're each our own organization with our own board of directors. And
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Mayor.
Good afternoon. I'm Christina Lucier. I'm the Vice President Lucier, the Vice President of Community Programs with the Lord's Place, and I'm here with my colleagues Joey Nieves and Tyrina Phillips, our Director of Homeless Outreach and Clinical Services, and we'll be very efficient with your time, I hope. We would like to thank the Palm Beach County Community Services Department for developing a community-wide process for using the FAA funds to address some of the root causes of behavioral health and substance use disorders. We especially appreciate the plan's focus on social determinants of health, such as access to stable housing and recovery capital. The Lord's Place is uniquely positioned to contribute to this effort. For decades, we've championed the vital role of housing and supportive services delivered by dedicated staff with clinical expertise and with lived experience in helping our community's most vulnerable individuals and families to move towards stability and recovery. This generates both cost savings for the community and life-changing outcomes for participants. So I wanted our experts on clinical and lived experience to share.
Good morning, good morning. I just want to give you a quick glimpse of how
Your
we
name,
help our
please?
client. Tyrena Phillips, Director of Clinical Services at the Lord's Place. Just a quick glimpse, just a fictitious name, Ms. Johnson, but very real, breathing individual who receives services with us. Just to give you a quick glimpse, she had chronic health conditions, mental health conditions, addiction. She had complexities in her life with the Department of Children and Families, but the wraparound supports that we was able to provide her were mental health supports, medical advocacy, weekly check-ins with clinical support, educational support, and recovery services as well. This has enabled her to re-engage with other children who are in custody of family members, maintained her sobriety, stabilized her mental health, and became a strong advocate for her own needs. She reconnected with primary health providers and successfully underwent 2 life-changing hip surgeries due to childhood disability, and she is now on track to get her GED. If we have this money to continue with our supporting our clients, we can continue to see these success stories.
Thank you.
How's everybody doing? Joey Nieves, Director of Homeless Outreach at the Lord's Place. I want to thank you guys for all your service in the Community Services Department. You've really created a space for us to put out our peers into the community and use our lived experience to connect with the clients that we serve. I also have lived experience myself, the whole gambit, and it's better to connect with someone because we know how they feel. It's not taught in a classroom. We've also connected with the Community Services Department with multidisciplinary case conferences as well. So we brought all system leaders into one room to case conference all these difficult cases. And the thing about lived experience is that nobody knows how you feel, nobody cares what you know until they know that you care. So I thank you all, and I just ask that you, thank you.
Thank you.
Could I, Mayor, please?
Commissioner Sachs?
Thank you, Mayor. Let me just mention something about the Lord's Place, and I'm going to bring Dr. Green in on it as well. I've met a number of these folks at different events which feature homelessness, and I look forward to working with them through Dr. Green in placing units at your location for those who are chronically homeless. So we're going to put a roof over their heads. Sir, you have spoken to me at great length at some of these events for the homeless, and I am so proud to know that we will be putting units at your location to help those who are chronically homeless. Thank you again. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
All right, good morning. I think we've got like 3 minutes left while it's still morning, but good morning, Mayor Marino, Vice Mayor Baxter, and esteemed commissioners. I'm Dr. Lori George, President CEO of United Way of Palm Beach County. I've been working in this area, in this county, for over 25 years, and you're hearing from the hearts of heroes out here. I know you know it when you hear it and see it. Yet you have a difficult job, and I really respect that. You have taxpayer dollars. You're accountable for that. I respect that. It's important that we look at all of the nonprofit service delivery for efficiency, effectiveness, the outcomes, ROI, and you're asking all those questions. And just a big compliment to Dr. Green. You and your team are thorough. You are very, very thorough. You do an excellent job, and you ask the hard questions, and you don't fund all the requests. And so I absolutely appreciate everything that you do. Today, I'm actually here to talk about one of the programs that you've co-invested with us for over 23 years. It's in the economic stability area. It's a volunteer income tax assistance program. This is one incredible economic driver, and I want to tell you why. The challenge we see in our community is that tax season is often a time of stress and uncertainty. Despite our wealth in this community, 46% of Palm Beach County households are struggling to make ends meet, living below what we call the ALICE threshold. ALICE is asset limited, income constrained, and employed. It represents the growing number of individuals and families who are working but can't afford the basic necessities like housing, childcare, food, transportation, healthcare, and technology. And many qualifying taxpayers don't claim their important tax credits, like the Earned Income Tax Credit and the Child Care Tax Credit, despite being eligible. These credits boost the incomes of low-wage workers by offsetting federal payroll and income taxes. And we know that it offers crucial financial stability for low-income families, helping them make ends meet. The opportunity is that even last year, we helped over 8,500 local taxpayers claim over $10 million into this community. And the ROI on this is within the amount of time that we've been doing this program together, we brought in and had an economic impact of $442 million back into local community. But the thing that I think is most impressive is when we go and talk to the individuals that need the support services, they are so grateful. They are using these dollars. They're hardworking folks. They're the Alice folks who are working really, really hard. And they put that money into food. They put it into car emergencies. They put it into their housing. And we had one client say, I really appreciated the thorough work that was done in the VITA program. I'm a single mom and didn't know how I was going to do my taxes. But with a VITA volunteer, I was told I was going to get back over $6,000 that I had earned. I cried tears of joy for me and my children. This was life-changing. So I thank you for your partnership. Thank you for what you're doing, and I appreciate your support. Thank you.
I get to say good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak. I'm Stephanie Thompson, Executive Vice President at the Drug Abuse Foundation. Drug Abuse Foundation has been serving Palm Beach County since 1968. We are a full-service, not-for-profit, fully licensed, nationally accredited substance use treatment agency that serves over 3,000 individuals each year across 13 different programs, including prevention, intervention, a 24/7 emergency receiving center, which is also a Marchman Act receiving center, detox unit, men's and women's residential treatment, a residential program for pregnant and postpartum women and their infants, a level 4 residential program which provides recovery support and housing to individuals who need a little more services and some help with housing and job support, and case management, care coordination, and outpatient services. I could stand here for hours and tell you about our services, but I will not. Instead, I'd like to read you some testimonials from a few of our clients on what they felt our programs gave them. So this first story is from a 27-year-old woman who overdosed while 8 months pregnant. Both her and her baby had actually died. They were revived with Narcan. And she writes, on March 3rd, my life would change. Early that morning, I would be airlifted to the hospital due to an overdose while pregnant. After giving birth to my son, he was back in my room when DCF came into the room to question me. I explained to them that I would rather die than have them take my son and watch him being raised by another woman. That's when they gave me the chance of a lifetime. On March 6th, I got discharged from the hospital. That same day, I walked into DAF. I was so afraid of detoxing and being in the unknown, but little did I know I was in the right place, right where I needed to be at DAF. I learned so much about myself that I didn't even realize how much I've suffered and stuffed my true self away during addiction and how selfish I'd become. I grew up being told that DCF is bad people and they will do anything they can to take your baby away. That is not true. They gave me the hope I needed. They are there for the families. They want nothing but the best for the children. At DAF, I was able to gain the life skills and parenting skills I needed to be successful. On October 25th, my caseworker with DCF had closed my case, and I cried because of all the amazing people I met along my journey. As of today, I'm 283 days clean. I once thought 3 days were impossible. As I wake up every day next to my little boy, it's a reminder that all things are possible. So that's just from one of our women who graduated our Moms and Babies program. And I'll tell you, she is still successful and working in the community and raising her baby and reconnected with her family.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have 4 more. Lauren Steff, Brianna Beaver, Lauren Waterman, and Pamela Payne.
Good afternoon. My name's Laura Waterman. I'm the Director of Community Programs at Gulfstream Goodwill Industries. I have the pleasure of overseeing our program capabilities of the Palm Beaches for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. A lot of them have gotten up, a lot of my coworkers and nonprofits have gotten up and talked about what this population is. So I really just want to fill you in on what we do and also a story from a success story. We do career exploration for adults with these disabilities. That can be a long process for them to get ready to go out just to interview. So that takes a lot of time and a lot of effort on our staff. But when we see the results on the other end, it makes it so much worth it. We have person-centered case management. We enrich lives through purposeful activities, educational and community outings, social skill building, self-advocacy, health, nutrition, and safety classes, certified music and dance therapy, just to name a couple of things. One of the things that stands out for us is we have a print shop on site, and our participants get to do on-the-job training, and they get paid for doing it in our print shop. This allows them to see what it's like to work, to show up to work, how to put their phones away when they're at work, all of those things that they can practice with us before they go out into the community. We do serve participants from 18. Our oldest is 63. And the story that I'm going to tell you about is someone who is turning 27 today. I'll be going back and having cake with them when I leave here. So Sam, who is a participant with us, I won't use his last name, he started the program, he's very distant, he suffered from PTSD as well as bipolar and other disabilities. When he started, he did not engage in any of our programs. He just sat off by himself, really just kept to himself. After meeting with this case manager and coming up with his plan and his goals, little by little, we got him to engage in the program. He came to us, we did a mock interview with him, we gave him clothes to come into the program the next day, do the mock interview. He went out and interviewed, with the Hilton, and he served there as a bar back as an on-the-job training. When that was over, they didn't have a position for him, but he didn't give up. He came back, we encouraged him. He went back and he interviewed again, and he got a position working in the kitchen. He has now made friends at work. He has friends in the program. He comes to us 3 days a week because he's working on the other days. So he's splitting his time and still engaging in program. Since he got hired, one of the things that Sam has stated to us over and over again is that he is so grateful that we invested in him, but we also didn't give up on him. And that's what we need to do for these folks that would be just sitting at home, not having a purpose. So we give a purpose in our program. I support this funding 100%.
Thank you.
Sorry. Hello, my name is Brianna Beaver. I'm the Senior Program Manager for Family Promise of Southeast Florida. I want to thank you all for the funding recommendation. And at Family Promise of Southeast Florida, we empower families experiencing homelessness to achieve sustainable independence. For more than 17 years, we have walked alongside families through their most difficult moments, restoring dignity, building resilience, and creating pathways to a brighter future. Our reach grew in 2023 when we expanded beyond southern Palm Beach County and into all of Palm Beach and Broward counties. This included opening satellite offices and outreach sites in community spaces. That same year, we introduced the Prevention Diversion Program to help families avoid entering homelessness, and formally became Family Promise of Southeast Florida to reflect our expanded service area and increased staff capacity, including new program managers and a program director who is a certified mental health counselor. In 2024, we launched Step Up to Success, expanding on the Prevention Diversion Initiative to help underemployed parents and caregivers pursuing training, certifications, and career advancement. Despite the increased financial and operational demands that come with the expanded services, Family Promise remains steadfast in our commitment to meet the growing needs of families in crisis. What sets us apart is our power to end the cycle of family homelessness through comprehensive, holistic, wraparound support under Road to Independence. We not only provide temporary housing, but also equip families with the tools and resilience to thrive long-term. Thank you again.
Thank you. Commissioner Sachs?
Hi, thank you so much, Mayor. I'm very impressed with everybody and what they've done. I was just looking for a couple of other folks to be here. One is at the El Sol Resource Center. Is anybody here from them, or the Farm Worker Coordinating Council? Okay. Here. You all are here? Okay, good. Maybe after today's session or at some other time, you could come see me for additional support, okay? And then the ARC of Palm Beach County. Anybody representing
Yes,
the
Pam
ARC
Payne
of
is here.
Palm
She
Beach
has a
County?
card, and we
Thank
have
you,
two
yes.
more cards. Pam's card is in.
We have the ARC. Are you coming up to speak? My card was comment only. Okay, good. Also, I'd like to speak to you at some point with my office. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you.
And there were two other cards, Lauren Steff and Anne Marie Draper.
Just a quick question for agencies that are represented here that didn't put in cards. Can you raise your hands? Thank you. Just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that if you're here getting funding, you should be represented. So thank you for being in the room. Do I have any board comments on this? And would the board like a presentation from staff? I see no lights on. Commissioner Sachs.
I'd like to comment how wonderful our staff is, especially Dr. Green and Taruna, and I'm sure the other two as well, and your staff who help you. Because I have known, just like y'all have stories to give, I could give stories about what these two have done for people, homeless folks in our streets, bending over, helping them, as well as a young man, maybe not that young, maybe middle age, who was sleeping in his truck, and it was difficult, but we found help for him. So, you know, what you all have done is lead the way, but there are other folks in your footsteps as well. And one day I look forward to talking about homeless housing units that are on your property or close to you in our churches that will take care of those who are the most needy. And I look out also to DAF. I've worked with you in the criminal justice system. So there's a lot of money here, folks, and I'm sure you're very thankful. We are thankful for what you do, and I look forward to getting a report from our staff as to how you are helping them end homelessness, housing first, as well as to helping those, as someone said so beautifully up here, the least of all of us here should be helped. Thank you, Mayor.
Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, and I want to thank our staff as well. Obviously, those that are here, but and the ones that are really out in the field doing the great work that they do. But we can't provide all the services by ourselves for what this community needs. So we need you. We need our nonprofit partners. You're the ones that really make this community a special place. And so I want to thank you all. I know I thanked you earlier, but you know, we're talking now beyond just our children's needs, our young people's needs, but that of the greater community, behavioral health needs that are incredible. And you know, unfortunately, you know, the funding is not there from our other governmental partners, and we need to step into this to help fill that gap. Addiction and substance use, something that so many of our families struggle with, and there's nobody up here who hasn't been touched by it. Nobody, I'm sure, in this audience that hasn't been touched by it or watching it. And looking to help our homeless and folks getting back on their feet and being able to have productive lives. And I have a very special place in my heart for those with intellectual disabilities. I volunteered personally for over 10 years with the ARC of Palm Beach County, working with adults, and they're just special people. I mean, God gave them to us for a reason. They're there, they teach us lessons, and they're just an amazing group of people. And I think that as a community, our ability to help stand them up and provide opportunity. I think that's one of the lessons we also have to learn. So, I have I want to thank you all for the great work, and I said it earlier, I will say it again, you're doing God's work out there. And with that, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 3C1A and B.
I have a motion from Commissioner Weiss, a second from Commissioner Flores. Before we take a vote, Administrator?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. 10 seconds. Thank you, Commissioner Sachs, Commissioner Weiss, and others who commended the staff. Dr. Green, your entire team, you do so much great work, and I saw how hard you work, and I just have to point out, because we have to thank the board. Out of the 35 departments that I've spent time at, our community service department is working in the worst of conditions, quite frankly.
The neediest space.
Yes. So they are doing, as the commissioner said, God's work in those conditions. And thank you, board, for the investment you've made and the priority you've made. And of course, thank you, staff, for all you do.
And I'd like to thank staff also, and I'd also like to thank all of the agencies that are in the room that are doing this work for us, that we can partner with and we can support, even though it might not be in the biggest of ways, but it is a way that the county can. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? See, that motion carries 7-0. It's 12:16. We were going to break for lunch at 12:30. Before we do that, I had a request to actually flip the workshop items, the tri-rail before the Water Utilities Department. Does anyone have an issue with that? Okay, so we are going to come back. Let's come back in an hour at 1:15, and we'll take tri-rail when we come back. Thank you.
Hi, Joe.
It's okay.
When the decision is made and local leaders put evacuation orders in place, it's the time to put your plan into action. So get your geese in a gaggle, or herd your cats, or if you're from South Florida, maybe gather your flamingos. But if you need to go to the emergency shelter, here's what you need to remember. Each person gets assigned a 4 by 5 foot space. 5 feet by 4 feet, so for a family of 2, you'll get a 40-foot area. A family of 3 will get a 60-foot area, and a family of 4 will get an 80-foot area, and so on. You get the idea. Pack your bedding, your blankets, pillows, medications, bottled water, non-perishable food, clothing, personal hygiene items. You get it, enough stuff to take care of your family's needs for 2 or 3 days.
Be ready, be informed. Visit readypbc.com.
Welcome to Palm Beach County's Community Bulletin Board. Stay tuned to find important information on county services including Palm Tran routes, road construction and closures, bids for county services, government employment, Crime Stoppers, PBC TV 20 programming, meet your commissioners, events and announcements, and much more.